Hey guys, what you're looking at here is the world's first modular gaming handheld. It looks amazing. It's the AYANEO 3. It's just been announced. It's going to be on Indiegogo. You can get the super early bird and save yourself some money on this. This thing looks absolutely amazing. Look at that. Modular sticks. Your own actual D-pad, circular D-pad, a touchpad if you want a touchpad on your handheld. The fact you could switch them out, in and out, replace them, just replace them if they go bad is absolutely game-changing. This could be one of the most exciting gaming handhelds of 2025. Let's get into it. I'm Blaze2K. But before we get to the video, guys, check all the links down below in the video description for the best tech you could find, hands down. We've got all the best tech of the year, all the best PS5 Pro accessories and PS5 accessories, all the best Steam Deck accessories if that's your thing, and the best coffee ever made by mankind with nootropic mushrooms that just improves your health. And talking of health, if you want to invest in your sleep and your health overall, the best smart ring that tracks your sleep and tracks basically a bunch of body metrics for you, the Ultra Human Ring Air. Use my links down below to save money right now. Click them, click them, click them. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. So let's take a look at this one first of all. It's got 6 buttons on the right. How cool is that? We'll finally be able to basically emulate and enjoy Sega Genesis, the 6-button controller. Finally, I've been waiting for this day. And I've always had a soft place in my heart for AYANEO. Actually, I have a review that I've not yet posted of the AYANEO 2 that I need to post. I should have posted. I lost the footage of it, but I'm going to refilm it and get it out as soon as I can and do like a year later video. But let's just say the AYANEO 3 is an absolute game changer. Not only does it have modular controls and controllers and buttons and touchpads and all that good stuff, but it also has one of the biggest features, well, an amazing feature that I want in all my gaming handhelds after the Steam Deck OLED. And that is an OLED. You're going to be able to pick this up with an LCD option and an OLED option. Finally, AYANEO. Not only have they made one of the most ergonomic, comfortable, beautiful to look at gaming handhelds, but it's also going to have a freaking OLED display. So let's dive into it. Let's take a deeper look and see what this thing can do. So first, here's the tweet. The AYANEO 3 is here, packed with groundbreaking upgrades in controls, display, audio performance, and software. It's your ultimate game experience. Let's go. So let's take a look at some of the slides here. It's going to be starting at $699, world's first modular handheld, the AYANEO 3 officially released. Let's scroll down the information here. Here you go. Here's all the combinations. Those look like hall sensor sticks. AYANEO usually pick some of the best parts. I think their software leaves a lot to be desired. That's a lot of the reason why I actually delayed my review a little bit, because the software was so buggy for me at first, but it slowly did improve. We're going to go through all the little slides here. So basically, unparalleled control freedom in flagship handheld, innovative magic modular controller, dynamic experience with plug and play for 4 types of modules, reversible installation, that's kind of nice, for up to 56 layout combinations and compatibility with all game genres. AYANEO Magic Module, they're calling it. Hardware level free button, cool. So detachable ABXY buttons for easy reordering with characters always matching the module direction, and adaptive key values for an intuitive experience. So not only can you remove the entire module or reverse the module, you can even remove the freaking buttons and reorder them. So maybe you're used to the Xbox layout, maybe you're used to the Nintendo layout. You can do both now with this. This is super sick, guys. So that's really awesome. That's nice. Hardware level keyboard and mouse mode, so one-click switching, universal compatibility in games, software, BIOS even, with rich customizable mapping and saved button schemes. Ergonomic dual shoulder buttons, so elegant and practical with rich customizable functions. I don't think that's a shoulder button. I think that's a rear button for the back, like the paddles on the back. Those are not shoulder buttons, but they're talking about shoulder buttons. 2-stage dynamic trigger. So this is really nice, and I've been looking forward to this in a handheld, especially because racing games, I kind of get a little bit put off a little bit when I'm playing racing games like Formula 1 on the Steam Deck, and the trigger distance and the trigger travel is so much. It's just uncomfortably long. So when I'm trying to do quick, up and downs with the trigger, trying to, modulate that throttle, it's really stressful when you're going on the throttle and you're trying to slam on the brakes for that travel distance on the Steam Deck's triggers is really off-putting in some cases. I apologize if I was out of focus for the entire first part of the video, I've got a new desk over here and I had to change the microphone location, so that's why. But what I was saying about the triggers on the Steam Deck being having a little bit too much travel distance, it now has a 2-stage dynamic trigger, so switch easily between 7.5mm linear mode and the 3mm micro switch mode for ultimate tactile freedom. So it's going to have a little switch in the back of the controller now, or the handheld, that allows you to change your travel distance for the trigger. I think that's massive. A couple of other companies have obviously introduced that, and I'm glad that AYANEO are doing that also. It's going to make, you know, just make games a little bit more fun and more customizable, especially things like racing games. That's going to be really nice, and shooter games. You know, the 7.5mm mode obviously going to be good for racing games. 3mm micro switch mode may be great for your left trigger for brakes, like I was saying. Another interesting thing here is the first self-developed magnetic levitation motor, a new cylindrical design for multi-dimensional vibrations compatible with both linear and rotary motor modes. So I wonder if that's going to be kind of like the Rumble on the Nintendo Switch. Kind of interesting. And here we have the two options. We've got the dual flagship screen options, LCD and OLED. Very nice. So we've got a 7-inch 1080p, 120Hz IPS OLED. IPS, high refresh, original color screen, native landscape screen, and it has VRR. So here we go. Here already I could see one of the reasons why some people might pick the LCD over the OLED is because the LCD model has VRR, variable refresh rate, and it's going to make games even at lower frame rates, or games that have choppy frame rates that go up and down, especially around the low area, you know, VRR just smooths all that out and it makes your games run like butter. I had it on the ROG Ally, and honestly, it's kind of a game changer actually, and it makes playing games at lower frame rates just a little bit more comfortable and more enjoyable. So VRR is pretty damn nice. Now, if you're like me also, who likes OLED, we've got the 1080p 7-inch 144Hz OLED model, high refresh, vibrant screen, 150% sRGB volume. So they're basically saying this thing is going to be pixel perfect as far as colors are concerned. 800 nits, doesn't say the brightness for the LCD, but 800 nits is pretty significant for an OLED. So that's going to be potentially good for playing outside, which is going to be nice. But they don't mention VRR. So there we go. Do you want an LCD with VRR, or do you want an OLED without VRR, but probably higher brightness, more color accuracy, and slightly higher refresh rate? So I might even argue you don't need VRR when you have a refresh rate that's like 144Hz anyway, so let me know what you think. We also have dual flagship AI-powered processors. So we've got the AMD Ryzen 7 8840U, which is, I believe, is last year's model, still very powerful. And we obviously also have the AMD Ryzen AI9 HX 370. I've been seeing the benchmarks for this specific chip, and they have been insane. I wish the Steam Deck had this sort of performance that this thing has. You're able to play things like Stalker 2 on these consoles, whereas before in like something like the Steam Deck, you obviously can't really. They run really bad, even at in the 20s with really bad graphics. So getting something that can play games at least at a solid 30 to 60, you know, consistently and still look half decent is kind of nice. It's not the groundbreaking next gen leap that we'd like from the Steam Deck or something of that level upwards to something new, but it's still an improvement nonetheless, and might make games that were just unplayable, on the cusp of being, well, below the cusp of being playable for the first time on the AYANEO 3. So essential features for flagship handheld experience: AYANEO brand design aesthetics, borderless full screen display paired with the smooth curved baby sleep position, grip 2.0, harmony and experience. There we go. Talks about the cooling, front firing speakers, which is a big deal. The AYANEO 2 had, I believe, downward facing speakers, so front firing speakers, massive improvement, and a large cavity design for powerful immersive sounds with rich detail. iSpace 3, this app was very unoptimized when the AYANEO 2 first came out, but it did make some good improvements. I hope they've got the translation locked down, because the translation was pretty bad. We had Chinese lettering in some parts of it, but yeah, the translations were really bad in iSpace. I hope they've made improvements. It already looks a little bit better. More rational process management mechanism that allows true game pausing like a console, ensuring smooth performance and power savings. That is really good. Snow Zone. And here, more importantly, are the prices. So apologies for the resolution image. So for the Starry Black, for the cheapest variant, we're going to have 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. We're also going to play a trailer for this, by the way, so stay tuned. Don't quit out the video just yet. $699 for the early bird price. For the Indiegogo price, $799, and then $899 for retail. The 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte model is going to be $899, $999, and $1099. For the retro power, so they're going to have a retro powered one with 64 gigs of RAM and 2 terabyte storage for $1199, $1299, and $1399. And those are for the AMD Ryzen 8840U. I would honestly go for the Ryzen AI 9. I think it's going to be a lot more powerful. We've got it starting off at a higher price point with 32 gigs RAM, 1 terabyte storage, and for $1299 if you get the early bird, and it goes up all the way up to $1,500. You also have a color choice here, 64 gigs, 2 terabyte for $1,599. We're getting to $2,000 handheld territory here. If you want all the bells and whistles in your handheld consoles, you better be prepared to pay up. And another thing which might be essential, necessary for these handhelds is the modular conversion kit, or the controller bar kit, which is $99 for early bird if you buy it now, and $139 later on if you want to buy it retail. And obviously that gives you the case with all the goodies and all the controller options and configurations that you would ever want, which is really sick. I wonder if that's RGB there. Touchpad module. FPS battles are accelerating. Fighting module. Precise controls. Awaken arcade memories. Very nice. Standard joystick module. It does have RGB around the sticks. Very nice. 6-button fighting module. This is going to be huge for fighting games, guys. Look at that. Look at the 6-button fighting module there. How cool is it going to be playing fighting games? Like just slapping out the control module and slapping in a 6-button one. That's going to be nice. And obviously touchpad. For those of you that preferred and loved the old Steam controllers that just had a touchpad in place of a thumbstick, and you prefer touchpad controls, well, you can now have it. Again, customizable buttons. That's a really nice touch. Different customization options. Fighting module, touchpad model, standard module, blah, blah, blah. And again, you could switch these and swap them. Another thing that's really cool about it, the joystick cap supports a quick detach design, allowing you to optionally equip different designs, different styles and sizes of joystick caps. So that's really nice. And it also says both the joystick and triggers have a report rate of 250 Hz, leading in the handheld industry with faster and more sensitive response speeds. Wow. The software looks pretty on point as far as I can see. No drift, no dead zone, joystick, more vibration, zero power standby, nice customization buttons. That's one thing I wasn't too keen on the AYANEO 2, is that when you did put it to sleep, sometimes the games wouldn't resume as normal. So they've obviously fixed that. And obviously here's the two screens. We've got the OLED model with the high refresh rate screen, vibrant display. So here's the specs. So the OLED model supports 144 Hz at 120, 90 Hz or 60 Hz, 800 nits maximum global brightness, bright and transparent, HDR, true color, realistic light and shadow, 150% of the sRGB, color gamut volume, 110% DCI-P3, no VRR though. 120 Hz IPS, which again, IPS is pretty nice. You do get pretty good viewing quality, viewing angles and whatnot on IPS LCDs. So that is not a bad screen by any measure, all right? It's got VRR, AMD FreeSync, no screen tearing. That is a pretty big deal. VRR is really nice. You're gonna have to really think, do you want OLED or do you want VRR and FreeSync? 500 nits brightness, so it's gonna have a lower brightness. Native landscape screen compatibility is significantly improved, so that is a native landscape screen. I wonder if this is not a native landscape screen. Obviously, native landscape screens are more reliable when playing older games that maybe don't support, the screen orientation switching. I'm not going to go into it. The Fox is someone you really should watch on YouTube discussing this. I'm guessing the OLED might not be native landscape. It might be native portrait, and you might encounter issues on certain really old games, but really nice. 7 milliseconds response time, faster than others, 120 Hz or 60 Hz option, and 100% sRGB coverage. Obviously, seems like they have really good sound. Forward-facing speakers at last. Obviously, here's the specs for the APUs, A840U, AI9, HX370. 370's got 12 cores, 24 threads. Very nice. really fast memory, LPDDR5X, and up to 64 gigabytes. That's a full-sized SSD as well, so basically you can basically slap an 8 terabyte SSD in this thing, which is nuts. And obviously you have 3 color variants: retro power, which is alright, like sky white and starry black. I'll always, if given the option, I'll always go for black, just because I know it doesn't get dirty, it doesn't get stained. I cook with a lot of turmeric extract powder for anti-inflammatory reasons, and the one thing I've noticed is it gets everywhere. My hands are stained orange, everything I touch is stained with orange. Sky white would look orange if I had it, so the starry black is one I would go for, honestly. Retro power, close second. But white does look clean, I'm not going to lie. If you don't cook with turmeric or anything that can stain a lot and everything permanently, just about, definitely go for black or retro power, or go with white if you don't. Now we're going to take a look at the trailer that they put ahead for this thing. It has Oculink. Oh my goodness, it's got Oculink. No way. Now, Oculink, if you don't know, it's basically it's a port that allows you to connect up an external GPU system, and unlike USB 4, it has a good bit higher bandwidth, 64 gigabits a second maximum bandwidth, so basically should be able to drive the full performance of desktop level discrete graphics cards. Example, the 5090 possibly. So that is amazing. Again, for those of you that have been wanting to invest in a handheld gaming PC and have the benefit of being able to take your games on the go wherever you want to go, but then maybe dock it up to a system, an external GPU with a 5090 in it, and then connect like, you know, a triple monitor gaming setup with high refresh rate displays, and be able to power all that and have it be a full desktop gaming PC. You can with Oculink. It's amazing. You can obviously do it with USB 4 too, but you don't get the full bandwidth of the card. 64 gigabits is obviously a lot of bandwidth for those desktop level cards, and like I said, this will turn your handheld AYANEO 3 into a fully fledged gaming desktop if you want to do that. And obviously it's got an Oculink port. Amazing. Massive thumbs up for me. USB 4, 2 of them. So as I've always went on, more USB-C ports the better. You could use one for charging and then have another one connected up to like a dock, or connected up to a USB drive or an SSD, an external SSD, and an enclosure slapped onto the back of it. You know, options. I like that when handhelds give you options. It's also got a micro SD slot with a maximum speed of 300 megs a second. It's got the headphone jack. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.3. So really, really nice specs. Up to 35 watt performance. It's got large PC level turbofan, Hall effect sticks. Basically, guys, honestly, this is like the best handheld you can get with the most and the best specs. 690 grams, 49 watt hour battery. It's got a power button with integrated fingerprint recognition. So for Windows Hello, that's going to be really handy. One tap sign in to your system. Really nice. It's got 2 rear buttons on the back as well. Again, this thing is like a jack of all trades. It's got the best specs. It's got the best I/O. It's got everything you'd want in a handheld. This is like the dream handheld right here. So let's watch the trailer without further ado right now. Here's 2 people, a man and a woman, an AYANEO 3. Oh, look at that. Look how slick this thing is. If Apple were to design a handheld gaming console, this is probably what it would look like, right? Innovative controller, modular design, very nice. They pop out. Stepper motor buckles are seamlessly matched, locking peace of mind, unlock agility and freedom. This is a game changer, guys. The detachable modules. Oh, look at that. Look how let's go back. Hold on. I need to rewind that just for a second there. Look at this. This is it in the fighting model layout. Oh, unpause it there. Boom. Look at the 6 buttons on the right. That is going to be amazing for things like Street Fighter. The circular D-pad there. I like the color. I like the retro power color one. That's really nice. And how they managed to get RGB around the sticks is absolutely nuts. The retro one looks really cool. Front-firing speakers. Again, they had to cut that speaker section out of the glass because it's got a fully front face glass panel on this handheld, which is absolutely nuts. I love that about the AYANEO 2. Wasn't a fan of the downward facing speakers on the AYANEO 2, but now they've got front facing, can't complain. This is edge to edge glass on this display here. They could have made the bezels a little bit nicer, a little bit smaller, I should say. Let me see, how did they do that? Is that a software release? Is that a software for release? One-click pop-up. There's no way they've got a software release for the magnet, for the detachable controller things. No way. Okay, just click it in. Works as intended. Refactoring belongs to your free era. Here's the buttons, consecutive rubber and thin film micro action. There's the fighting games in action. There's the racing games, classic cross key ABXY, touchpad smart control. So those of you Steam controller fans out there, we've got them playing Street Fighter here, 6-button 8 D-pad fighting module. That's nice. Magic module, modular controller design. You can even switch the buttons to have different layouts. ABXY buttons support arbitrary disassembly and reordering. That is a game changer. I hope these don't be popping off or falling off when, like, let's say you drop the controller. Joystick caps to choose from, agile hall triggers, designed with ergonomics to prevent accidental presses, superb control free and agile. One thing that I had happen on the AYANEO 2, which I wasn't too big a fan of, was the left trigger. It kept popping off like constantly when I'm in an intense game of, say, Formula 1 or a racing game, and I'm like, my hands are really tense. Even when my hands weren't tense, it would pop up on the right side for some reason. Like the little latch or whatever that held it down was really loose, and it would be popping up on one side, and you could literally just pop off the triggers. And I just never really liked that. I like my triggers to stay on, thank you. So I hope, and that was like a big glaring issue that I had with the AYANEO 2, a really big pain in the ass. So hopefully that isn't an issue here. Let's continue on. So we've got the magnetic suspension motor, developed with GuliKit technology. We've got the fingerprint sensor, power button there. Or sorry, that's not the power button. That's the switch that allows you to use basically switches it to hardware level keyboard mouse mode. So when you're moving around the BIOS, having to change BIOS settings for maybe certain games or things that might not be working properly, you'll be able to access the freaking BIOS now without having to plug in a mouse and keyboard. That is also a game changer. So it's a hardware keyboard. Highly customizable master controller. This lets you control different things, what different buttons do. Very nice. Great screens. That's an OLED on the left, I'm assuming, and that's the IPS LCD on the right. As you can tell, the blacks look, well, they look a lot blacker on the OLED. 144 Hz OLED high refresh rate. Hypersound dual speakers. Can't wait to hear those. Hardware supports bypass charging, durable energy supply. Bypass charging. Let's go back. What does it mean by bypass charging? No idea. I guess basically it's maybe got 2 different battery packs in. 2 flagship processors to choose from. If you want to get the AI9 one, you're going to have to pay a hefty penny more, a pretty penny more than that. Snow Zone process freezing function. Enjoy the pause experience of real gaming consoles. So you'll be able to pause the game, put the controller game to sleep, and then basically resume where you left off anytime. Large PC turbofan, triple copper pipes, very nice. It boggles my mind how they're able to fit so much stuff in this console. AYANEO have always been good at that. A single one-piece glass view, breathtakingly beautiful. Brand new ergonomic grip 2.0. Sorry, this is a long video, guys. We're just enjoying this together here. There's all the customizable button options. The AYANEO 3. The retro power one looks kind of nice, doesn't it? White looks super clean if you like your white consoles. Ooh, stealth black. I like going black and then setting the accent colors around the sticks to like red, having it give it like a Sith vibe, you know, like a Star Wars Sith vibe. You can really do whatever you want on it. Customization, yeah. Basically, it's the console to end all consoles. Could this kill the Steam Deck? Probably not at this price, but it's amazing and it looks amazing. And if there's not, I don't think there's one feature on this system that I wouldn't want in a handheld. I can't even think of a feature that this handheld does not have. It has 2 USB-Cs. It has OcuLink or OcuSync, whatever it's called, for the eGPUs and that higher bandwidth. It's got the headphone jack. It's got fingerprint sensor. It's got detachable and customizable controls, touchpads. It's got front-facing speakers. It's got really high-end APU. It's got Hall sensor sticks, Hall sensor triggers. It's got a new vibration motor, which is supposedly really nice. what am I missing? Adjustable trigger length switches on the back. Ergonomic design, pretty good battery life. It's got an OLED, a high refresh rate OLED. It has the whole shebang, and I'm all for it, man. If you have a pretty decent budget, you can get it right now. It's on Indiegogo right now. I'll put the link down below in the video description for you to get this if you want to get it. This is literally one of the most advanced, full-featured gaming handhelds you could ever ask for, quite honestly with you. Again, I would go for the AI APU, but it comes at a hefty premium. What's the cheapest one with the AI chip? It's $1309, and that is the early bird price. But it does have the OLED, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte storage, AI 370. Oh, I want it, guys. Please super chat on this video. Help me buy it. Let's crowdfund Blaze2K to get this new AYANEO. Let me put it through its paces for you guys. Please super chat below because I can't afford this thing. Anyways, I love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know if you're planning on getting this. Is this the handheld you've dreamt of? It sure looks like it, doesn't it? It's really exciting. Looks interesting, and I cannot wait to see this thing in your guys' hands. This is a game changer. This is literally a game changer. 2025 was supposed to be a big year, but for gaming handhelds, this is it, man. If you have the budget, this is it. Anyways, I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye. I'm Blaze2K. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon, and join me on stream every day at 1 p.m. Central for some gaming.